Key AK-47, a blunt functional instrument and one of the most consequential of the 20th century. In the rubble of post-war Europe, a young Soviet designer brought together a handful of clever compromises and built a weapon that would spread faster than any doctrine, march through mud and sand, and become a global symbol of both liberation and violence. This is the story of how the Kalashnikov was conceived, how it was built, how it fought, and what it left behind. The story begins in the late 1940s. The Soviet Union, scarred and exhausted by World War II, needed a new infantry rifle, something cheaper and easier to produce than the complex, full-power battle rifles of earlier decades. Mikhail Kalashnikov, a tank mechanic and self-taught engineer wounded at the front, sketched the first concepts while convalescing. Rather than chase long-range precision, Kalashnikov's brief emphasized three things above all: simplicity, reliability, and the ability to be produced in huge numbers. At its core, the AK-47 is a study in tolerance. The rifle uses a long-stroke gas piston system. When a cartridge fires, gas siphoned from the barrel pushes a piston that drives the bolt carrier rearward, ejecting the spent case and chambering the next round. That system keeps hot gases and fouling away from the bolt face and critical linkages, meaning the mechanism can continue to operate when clogged with mud, sand, or grit. The stamped steel receiver used in many models reduced machining time and allowed factories to keep pace with massive production quotas. Springs are robust, dimensions are deliberately generous, and the bore is often chrome-lined to resist corrosion. Those choices reduce accuracy to extreme ranges, but they guarantee a functioning rifle in the hands of a conscript or irregular fighter after months or years of neglect. Caliber choice was part of the genius. The 7.62 Kix 39mm intermediate cartridge is smaller and lighter than a full-power round, but it still delivers lethal energy inside a typical compact. Tried to create controllable automatic fire and generous tolerances, the round permits effective close to medium or manageable. In practice, this means conscripts can be trained faster, carry more ammunition, and still lay down effective fire in chaotic combat. Production, not perfection, mattered. Beginning in the 1950s, the Soviet state flooded the factories. Civilian industries were repurposed. Stamps and dies were produced, and licensed plants sprang up throughout the Eastern Bloc. The design simplicity made it easy to copy. China produced the Type 56. Romania, Yugoslavia, Egypt, and others adapted local variants. When Western economists fretted about quality control, insurgent commanders celebrated uniformity of supply. For many conflicts, the correct metric was not per-unit excellence but availability and supply resilience. A cheap, reliable rifle that could be repaired in the field beats a fragile masterpiece that cannot be replaced. That strength became obvious in the first major conflicts where the AK was widely used. In Vietnam, in the dense humidity, withdrawal of a K-variant weapon into damp earth and retrieval months later often left it firing while more finely tuned weapons failed. In Afghanistan, Soviet and later Afghan fighters learned that the AK would keep working in freezing dust and mountain grit. In Africa and Latin America, the AK's ubiquity and ease of maintenance made it the weapon of choice for state armies and guerrillas alike. Those field experiences burnished the AK's reputation. It was not merely a tool, but a promise that the rifle would still fire when every other system had given up. But the AK's success created consequences. Its silhouette became emblematic, a motif on flags and emblems, a shorthand in imagery for revolution or resistance. That same pervasiveness also made the AK a facilitator for crime and conflict when it entered black markets. The simplicity that made it suitable for mass armies also made it ideal for clandestine manufacture and illicit transfer. That duality, liberator of the guerrilla, enabler of the uneasy peace of urban conflict, complicates its legacy. Technically, the AK is not without flaws. Accuracy compared with modern NATO designs is modest. Long-range precision is limited by sighting systems and barrel harmonics. Quality control varies wildly between production centers. Some copies are perfectly serviceable, others dangerously imprecise. Still, the AK has evolved. Modern Kalashnikovs and their derivatives now commonly feature polymer furniture, Picatinny rails for optics, improved barrels, and modular components. The AK-12 and other contemporary models attempt to preserve the original design's robustness while offering modern ergonomics and optics integration. The AK is also a case study in design for environment, where Western small arms designed for tight tolerances excel in the hands of well-trained troops. With reliable logistics and clean ranges, the AK was designed to survive the opposite. Its maintenance regime is minimal. Field stripping is quick and is commonly fabricated. That makes it lethal in areas where supply chains are unreliable and training is short. In short, the AK won because it was good enough, available enough, and resilient enough. The human story remains central. Where an AK appears, stories of courage, survival, and tragedy appear too. It has helped overthrow regimes and defended borders. It has powered insurgencies and darkened lives. Its presence on a battlefield changes the calculus of conflict, enabling small units to project sustained fire, shifting tactics from set-piece battles to dispersed, deadly skirmishes. So where does the Kalashnikov go from here? The future is hybrid. Designers keep modernizing the platform, while the market of small arms fragments into specialized weapons, loitering munitions, and networked shooters. Yet the AK's combination of simplicity and survivability is not easily superseded. It will remain in arsenals, in militias, on museum walls, and in the collective iconography of modern war. The AK-47 did not win because it was the most refined weapon on the range. It won because it worked when others did not. Because it answered a practical, brutal question. How do you arm millions cheaply and reliably in the worst of conditions? The Kalashnikov is a design shaped by scarcity and by necessity, and a reminder that sometimes the simplest answers have the deepest impact.